Okay. So once we hit August camp, obviously, Jason, the competition's going to play out itself and you're going to track it, but obviously you've got your eyes in certain directions to start. So where do you think the best position battles are going to be?
I would start at center. You know, you've got Ryan Linthicum, who's been there for a while now, kind of growing into that role, being patient and kind of learning, sitting behind some guys. And Dabo Sweeney said, you know, he had done what he needed to do to keep a hold of the job through the spring, but we'll see if he can hold off Harris Sewell, who's entering his second season. Played a lot at guard last year, but he's a guy that I think could that is a job that is going to be hotly contested throughout fall camp, and I could easily see the young upstart ending up winning that thing before it's all said and done. You know, there's going to be some battles at wide receiver with the two freshmen coming in. How much playing time can they earn? You know, maybe in that secondary, some of those young corners that I just mentioned a minute ago with Tafoy Fegan and Corey and Gibson. Don't know that they'll win starting jobs, but you know, the center is absolutely where I would start. You know, that would be the biggest position battle to me because Clemson, you know, we've talked about it many times. They struggled up front last year, and if you can't get that center position not locked down, you're looking at some struggles again this year. That is first and foremost the most important position up front.
Jason Priester's here. The ClemsonInsider.com is the place to be to track Jason's work and everybody else there. In terms of course, recruiting is hot right now, and then we'll make it into the ACC kickoff media days on into fall camp. All right, Jason, I think we pretty much covered it. I do think that there were some schedule announcements this past week. I should have pulled this up. Did Clemson have any additional games released?
App State was scheduled for a night game at home that second week. I think that's the only time it's been announced so far, other than the Georgia game, is that App State game. Home opener. It'll be, I can't remember the specific time, but it was a night game and
8 o'clock. Yep.
Yeah. That is the only one so far outside of that noon opener against Georgia.
How did Clemson fans and yourself respond to that noon? Because people just assume, oh, Clemson, Georgia, they've always played at night. I can't remember the last time they didn't play a night game. We'd have to go back to the 80s or 90s. But those Dabo, Mark Richt games from 10 years ago, 12 years ago, those were big night games. And then, of course, they played in Charlotte. The night game was that DJ and JT Daniels. Can you imagine the quarterbacks? Wow. A lot changes in a very short period of time. But we expected a night game. But noon has almost become a destination for college football fans now with Fox. But I know this is not a Fox game, but it's a big triple header. And were you surprised by the noon? And do you and Clemson fans want that time destination that you're stuck with?
I was a little surprised, and yeah, most of the fan base was not very happy with that announcement. Doesn't bother me because it means I'm not stuck in that stadium till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm out of there in the afternoon. But that, I know not everybody sees it that way. But yeah, it was a little surprising. I think the last time Clemson and Georgia played a nooner was like, oh man, that 2002 or I forget what year it was, early 2000s when Georgia just killed Clemson one afternoon. Cole Stout was the quarterback actually, so it wasn't early 2000s. It was Deshaun Watson's coming out party, kind of threw a bullet there as on a touchdown pass, but Cole Stout was still the starter. 2013 maybe or 2014.
Wait a minute, you're talking Deshaun Watson's freshman season before he got hurt?
Yeah.
That they played a noon game. Really?
Noon game in Georgia. Punked them that day, man. It wasn't even close. The two teams didn't. Georgia really started to dominate in the second half, and I forget what the score was, but it was lopsided.
I'm thinking like 45-24, 45-21.
2014, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
The older I get, I have trouble.
Deshaun Watson's first year. They went 8-5. The year they beat Oklahoma in the bowl game in Orlando.
He came off the bench, Deshaun did, and threw I think it was I want to say maybe it's just wrong, Pete, but don't hold me to that, man. Just threw an absolute laser for a touchdown in that game. But yeah, that was the last. I think that's the last time they played at noon. I think that was at noon. I know it was an afternoon game.
Okay. I know that they played. It would have been the year before they played a barn burner that I think Clemson won like 41-38, 38-35, something like that.
With Taj Boyd and Sammy and Newton, those guys.
Yeah. I thought the next year's game was a night game too.
I want to say it was at noon. I guess it's possible it could have been at 3:30, but it was definitely during the daytime for sure.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. We got Jason Priester here, Clemson Insider. Track him right there. You see the X handle for both Jason and Clemson Insider right there. Jason, we appreciate you stopping by. Hope that everything goes well. You make it through the weekend.
Man, I'm just trying to get back home, man. This is the longest time I've ever been away from the house.
All right. Well, make it back home, and we will track you down here sometime soon.
Appreciate it, Mark. Always a pleasure.